These companies now have got these call centres, but the idiot on the other end of the line's got a script to go by and he can't come off the script. Fuck no. You ring them up and you go, I'd like to open an account on the internet. And they go, oh, can I have your account number, please? Well, no, I ain't got one yet because I'm not on the internet, am I? Oh, yeah, gotcha. Can I have your account number, please? And they have a script to go by, but they wouldn't like it if we had a script and we stuck to our script. They wouldn't like that very much. You know, you get BT call you up to remind you to pay your bill, and they go, can I speak to the account holder, please? And we go, I am Spartacus. No, the account holder, please. No, I am Spartacus.
My name is Paul.
My name's Joe.
And this is Tuesday the 16th of June 2015. Oh, I sound very quiet. How are you? Can you hear yourself all right?
Yeah, I can hear this.
Marvellous. Anyway, Paul and Joe are back.
We are.
Not doing it every week now, because it doesn't seem to be a need, actually. I do feel that over the past couple of years or so, Andy and I put down the major part of what we want to say.
Yeah.
And now it's more observation that you and I are using, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Lee Evans. He knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? There's no
does.
doubt about it, is there? And I've been to see Lee Evans live, and fabulous, really fabulous.
Yeah,
he's exhausting to watch, to be honest, but fabulous. I hope now he's retired, because he has retired from touring.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he comes out and takes his chances a little bit.
Yeah.
He knows how the world works. Now he doesn't need paying from the TV stations.
That's right, yeah.
Happily married man as well for a long time.
Yeah.
And sings about his wife at the end of every show as well.
He does.
Which actually bothers the crowd. All the crowd get upset as well. 3 weeks have gone by. You and I have sat down. It's now what, 9:40. We've sat down for about an hour and a half and gone through a really good show, which I'm sure we probably won't repeat now, because we just don't do that, do we?
No.
For those that are new to our YouTube channel and doing this, maybe we won't actually speak in a way that you actually find agreeable or you're comfortable with, because we've been through the ringer, haven't we? We've been through the process of discovery, and we're both we're not spring chickens anymore. We're past the 40 marker, aren't we?
Yeah.
And things look the way they look, depending on whose eyes you're looking through. There's SEEN, which means they are your eyes, and now it's your experience to be able to decode what you see.
Yeah.
And there's SCENE, which is to be shown and told.
Yes.
And being shown and told is what most people are working off.
Yeah.
They have no experience. They haven't seen it.
No.
But they've been shown and told, and they get the two things mixed up, thinking they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
The TV was good, but the internet is infinitely better. The internet provides everything you need, so you think. But it doesn't provide an income for most people, does it?
No.
It's a time-stealing machine.
It is.
And it's a bloody good one as well, actually. You can waste hours on here for, once you've paid your unlimited monthly fee, it's £1 a day, isn't it? Or thereabouts. Let's not argue about the pennies. For £1 a day, you can pretty much do what you want on here.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually pay any bills, does it? All you can learn is something you didn't know. But the fact that it's on the internet means that it's already known and has no value because it was given to you for free.
That's right.
Well, isn't that what we're doing? Yeah. We try not to, though. We try and actually help people who are in the early days of discovery. Because in the early days of discovery, how the world really works which is on money and guns.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work any other way. The flowery way of how you'd wish it would is fine. It works on the internet, but it doesn't work in real life. When we first sat down this evening, and we went since it for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and our conversation started. The world's going crazier.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, the world it's falling fast at our level, isn't it?
It is.
Don't get mixed up. It's not falling fast at all levels. No. The dual economies, which is there's one economy where people are doing really well, and there's one economy where people are doing really badly, and you should be able to tell which one you're in. Okay, it doesn't. The definition is about as simple as that. You're in one or you're in the other, and if you're in the one that's doing really well, they're happy to see you struggling in the other one.
Yeah.
You might even be friends, but the people who belong to those two groups have been interchanging over the years, haven't they?
Yes.
The ones that are doing really well now appear to work for government, and the ones that are doing really badly don't work for government.
Yeah.
There was a time when that wasn't that way around. It was the other way around. And because people doing for government are given the illusion of being successful because they live off other people's money that they think they deserve because they've created the system that we live in, it makes a mess of things. The public servants like to see themselves as overseers, peers, and they act appropriately.
Yeah.
And eventually they do assume full control of this system as if they created it.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
Throughout history, it never changes. The only thing that changes is the people that this trick is played upon. We're a long way down the line now, aren't we?
Yeah.
The reason why this sounds so familiar to some people and so alien to others is simply because you haven't got a clue about history, or you do have a clue about history. Or either your eyes don't work or they do work, or you work for the government, and then you've no chance of ever agreeing with what we're saying. I've found in my journey so far that the people who I get along best with, and the people who understand why I say what I say and do what I do, are self-employed.
Yeah.
And the people who least understand are working for the government or not employed at all.
Yes. Yeah.
And those two groups, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get through to in a way that will be successful. The one group I despise because of their weakness, and the other group I don't despise but I've no time for because they keep pretending that there's a free lunch available. There is no such thing as a free lunch.
No.
There's just stealing off working people so you can have what you need. That's what it is. There's just stealing off people who already don't have much.
Yeah.
But you want something because you created a world that doesn't exist except on the internet. So those two groups of people are difficult to get along with. But division, the individual, the divided duality, it's there, isn't it? How are those three groups of people going to get along?
They aren't.
Well, they're not, are they? They're not, are they?
No.
Because the one in the middle is paying for the two either side.
Yeah.
So whether they're filling in the sandwich. Going back to looking around and observation-wise, you said that the world's just going nuts.
It is.
And there's some good examples of that, and that is that people, first of all, they don't want to hear a point of view that is different to theirs, do they?
No.
Now, this is an example of the world going mad, but if we continue with why they don't want to hear it, and there are explanations why they don't want to hear it, you realise that it starts to sound very childish, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
You know, you said to me that, well, your example was...
They think they've got a right to their opinion, yet they're not prepared to listen to a different opinion. And you say, well, you've got your right, why shouldn't I have a right to an opinion? And then they get so aggressive about it.
But you're allowed to have that opinion as long as it agrees with theirs.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But do you not see that this macro thing, do you not see that it only works if you go along?
Yeah.
It only works if you agree with those that want you to agree with them. And the amazing thing is that at our low levels here, it doesn't matter whether we rank ourselves higher or lower. It doesn't matter. We're all in the same group. But then people think opinions have the same value, don't they? They mix it up, don't they?
Yeah.
Because we're all in the same social network, then we all have an equal opinion.
Yeah.
I suppose that's true, but whether it has value or not is completely different, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
This is where it gets mixed up. Have an opinion, please. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
I think that applies to something else as well. There's a joke in there somewhere, which I'm not going to say. Please have your opinion, but don't make me validate it if I don't want to. But that doesn't work, does it?
No.
that doesn't work because the little children they are,
Yeah,
they get upset with you.
they do.
And then if you try and introduce something called evidence and facts that might contradict what the BBC One News have said,
Yeah.
you've no chance, have you now?
Oh,
You've
no.
actually no chance. There's no
you
way that
haven't.
what you can be saying can be true because the news didn't say that.
That's right.
But that means it's like trying to tell kids at 4-year-old there's no Father Christmas.
Mm.
First of all, the parents don't want you to do that, and the kid doesn't want that to be true anyway.
Mm.
So everyone's got a vested interest in maintaining the illusion that the BBC is telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because then life can stay as it is,
Yeah.
and nobody has to do anything.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're doing?
That's it.
Are we becoming lazier? I think history shows that that's the way this falls, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a father and son system, isn't it?
It is.
Or a teacher and student system, yeah? Or
Yeah.
a politician and voter system. Either way, it's higher and lower.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're master and slave.
Yeah.
It's just been developed over there, hasn't it? And isn't the idea that in the father and son system that is religion, which we're told father was a carpenter, that sort of thing, yeah, and son was, well, Joseph and Jesus, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the idea is that the carpenter, and we've done this story before, about the rise and fall of a business and a country, where, you know, father he starts the business up and works from morning till night. He starts with nothing and ends up with something, and is well respected throughout the community because how hard he works. And he teaches his son, and his son sees him working so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And his father teaches him all the trade of being a carpenter, and his son manages to take that carpentry business forward.
Yeah.
And for all his father did a great job with it, the son took it further, improved it, built it, and made it more successful.
Mm-hmm.
And his son saw him doing that and was proud of him. But at a point, that climb stops. At a point, Mum and Dad are saying, I want to give you a future that's easier than mine was. I don't want you to have to work as hard as I did. I want you to have the things that I didn't have. I want you to enjoy and have a happier life than I had.
Yeah.
There begins the fall.
Yeah.
Now the son doesn't have the same skills as father,
Mm.
so he cannot take his place
Mm.
in this hierarchy. Isn't that what we've done as a country?
It is. It is.
You don't get a chance to speak like that to people, do you?
No.
You don't have time, or you don't get given the free time to speak to people, to say, isn't that what's happened here?
Yeah. I don't
Haven't
know.
we had
whether-
our day in the sunshine as a country? Aren't we going to have to take it on the chin that whether we agree with it or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're going to end up where we're going to end up.
That explains exactly what you've just said, because I don't know whether we've got lazier or we're just not capable of doing it anymore.
Well, think of a psychopath and a victim relationship.
Yeah.
Plenty of evidence out here, and that is that the psychopath, okay, wants what you've got,
Mm.
but he has to get you to give him it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, he creates a whole life where you can't manage without him.
Yeah.
Because he keeps telling you, you can't manage without him.
Yeah.
And eventually, he's made up so many rules that you find
You
that
can't.
you're the slave.
Yeah. You can't manage without them.
And you can't move without asking.
Mm.
Well, isn't that what politicians do?
Yeah.
Aren't they less than us? I mean, let's be honest. There isn't a politician I'm feared of. I don't respect them really because I know that they're double dealing behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to. There's a maxim in law in this country, and that's silence is consent.
Mm.
And sometimes they just won't answer that question. And that's silence, isn't it?
It is.
And it's consent, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it carries the same guilt and sentence as if they were actually doing the deed. And politicians are guilty of this.
Mm-hmm.
And we know they are. But because they're bound together, this code of silence is well maintained, isn't it?
Mm.
And we can't get through what is the back doors of who's playing poker in the back rooms and where's all the money coming from. We can't really see that.
No.
We've got a press that helps us with, well, we know the companies that are preferred because they don't pay tax.
Yeah.
They don't pay tax. They're allowed to operate tax-free in this country.
Yeah.
Those are the preferred companies, and those are the ones that are doing good business with government. And they're the people you'll find in the back rooms.
Mm.
in the City of London, in that little square mile, doing business, buying favour and influencing decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the shadow government, and it's the one that never changes. It's the one that is actually in charge. All we see is the puppet show, the theatre, the act, or the actors. And they call themselves acts. Acts of Parliament. They call it a theatre, and they have a master of the roles. So please don't think that I'm making this up, because it's only your inability to understand what I'm saying makes it not true for you. But it is true in a way that the language confirms it's true.
Yeah.
This is a show. It's a show to control just under 64 million people.
Yeah.
And it's very successful.
Yeah.
Am I criticising it? No, I'm criticising the people who keep watching the show and think it's real. The show is very successful, and everybody plays their part. And I'm sure when the curtains come down and they go downstairs to the bars, the subsidised bars with the best stock wine cellars in Europe that we've paid for, they high-five each other, crack open the box of Cuban cigars, and smile to themselves and say, another good day in paradise.
But nobody questions this, do they? And I mean, the title, Shadow Cabinet, that gives it away. All dirty deeds are done in the shadows.
Well, the Shadow Cabinet is the one that's meant to be watching... Oh, it's the opposition, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Shadow Cabinet is the opposition.
Yeah.
But their job is to criticise them. It's to oppose them.
Yeah.
And that's their job. It doesn't matter, personally, what they think. Their job is to stand in opposition.
Yeah.
So they oppose everything. And then when the tables turn and they get to hold the steering wheel, they don't go back and change anything at all.
No.
Which proves quite openly it really isn't their decisions. They're just playing the role, the part of actor.
Yeah.
Well, we play the part of reactors. So we're as guilty as they are. Because we believe this show. And they have the force to apply to make the show real if we don't do as we're told. But this is a bad education we're suffering from. And when you let your slave masters educate your children, and you take them to school yourself and deliver them, all your slave master is going to do is make more soldiers. More little soldiers to work in is what we'll call an open-air concentrate camp. England. Hotel England. And the earlier you can get those kids out of the parents' arms, 2 or 3 years old, into the earliest slave training camp, that's what the child will work out to be normal. In other words, the earlier we can get them into a work routine, the better it will be for everybody.
Yeah.
And because mum and dad are working that routine already, this kid has no bonding with mummy and daddy, because mummy and daddy some mummy and daddies even take them to these play schools for breakfast and pick them up after somebody else has given them tea.
I know.
And mummy and daddy take them home, wash them,
Put them to bed,
and deliver them back bright and early the next morning. Isn't that what Oxley talked about? Isn't that what they said? That they'd get the kids?
It is. Yeah.
And we see this as normal. No, we don't now, because that's what we're talking about, this craziness of the world. No one can see it anymore, can they? The instinct to understand what we might have been once. And I'm saying what we might have been once because I'm not sure we've ever been much more than we are now. And that's awful to say, isn't it? But I'm not sure, as a country, we've ever been much more than we are now in a way that we challenge the system. I think we've been braver. I don't think we'd get millions lined up to fight a war again, would we?
No.
So I think there's different people. But the mentality, I'm not sure that's made different. That's not changed a great deal towards politics. But we've got the opportunity here, haven't we? The internet has given us the opportunity to learn all these things. I mean, let's be honest. You and I wouldn't be having this conversation about how we're being royally screwed. And we know exactly how they're doing it. Unless the internet hadn't actually started us both off.
Yeah.
Without the internet, I wouldn't have found what was the spark for me. And I'm sure I wouldn't have found people like Ike and Jonesy and Sarian, who you know, we can all criticise and critique, it doesn't matter. In the early days, they get you started.
They do.
And you either take the baton yourself when it's passed to you and decide to do, I'm going to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people, I mean, I always sort of wheedle people out quite easily now. And you ask, you know, how many hours a week do you actually find time to to study these things.
Mm.
And some say, oh, I actually find 2 or 3 hours a week. Leave them. They're never going to get it.
Mm.
They're never going to get this, are they?
No.
What's the real truth? What's the answer you want to hear when you say, I've got one here, I know somebody's going to make it? What's the real truth? Every bloody night.
Yeah.
Till you can't keep your bloody eyes open.
All the free time you've got.
Every free... You drive... In fact, people suspect you're having a breakdown.
Mm.
And you know what? They might be right.
Yeah. It
They
feels
actually
like
might be right. They might be bloody right.
Yeah.
A midlife crisis of the most enormous challenge
Yeah.
you've ever set yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
You either want to bloody know or you don't. 2 or 3 hours a week, you're playing at it, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's rather sick entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking into this side of things to see if there's something you can use to make you look smarter than the person you sit next to at work.
Mm.
Isn't that why you're doing it?
Yeah.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah.
I know that, and if you don't believe me, and I'm talking to whoever's listening, if you don't believe that's true, it's because you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours a week? No.
No way.
It's 2 or 3 hours a day, and many more if you can squeeze them in, isn't it?
Yeah.
This
Sleepless nights.
An absolute desire to know. You have to know. There's something that tells you keep going, keep going, keep going. It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your life's falling apart.
Mm.
Your friends don't call anymore. They think you've gone nuts.
Mm.
Your family are convinced you've gone nuts, so they try to drag you to the doctors.
Mm.
You can't sleep. You don't want to eat. And when people talk to you, you're not listening.
No.
You think it's your job to save the world.
Yeah.
Luckily, that does wear off eventually. Right, let's move along. Let's actually look on my Facebook page. I always find that I post loads on Facebook, and then when we sit down and do this, nothing. Never bother at all. Below the YouTube video you're now looking at, my Facebook is there, so please feel free to have a little look. I post on there stuff that I always intend to talk about and never get round to it. Now, you and I were sat downstairs a little bit earlier, and we were doing the... I started off the conversation by saying, last night, I woke up just after 3:30, and I sat at the window, and it was... I looked out the window, and it was remarkably light.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was later than 3:30 for a moment, so it sort of woke me up a little bit, thinking, oh, what time is it? Anyway, looked out the window, 3:30, 25 to 4. And I was staring up to the sky, and I thought, show me something. Show me something. I'm up, I'm awake, what can I see? And then I thought to myself, there's actually 2 choices here. We either are completely alone in this massive universe, or we're not. And then I thought, which would I rather? Which would I rather it was? I don't know.
No, I don't either.
I don't know. And that brought us along, didn't it? About you said now I want to carry on there. You said I want to tell you about a church in Harrogate.
Yeah. I've been having a discussion today regarding a church in Harrogate. Now it's had quite a few £1 million spent on it, really modernised, but the congregation they've got now is 600 adults and 300 children every Sunday.
900 people in
900
one church.
people in one
CV.
church. Yeah.
We need to go to church and have a look and see what's happening in today's churches, because I find that not hard to believe, but about 700 more than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't hear people talking about church.
No.
Now, there's plenty of them around, and history teaches us that when things get tough and people are really struggling, it's fortune tellers. And you go to whichever fortune teller you're okay with, but the church is the best one.
Yeah.
The church is where everybody, when times of crisis and drama and loss, that's despair, you always return to the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I find that quite remarkable in Harrogate, because Harrogate is he wants to be the capital city of North Yorkshire, but York's never going to give that up.
Yeah.
But Harrogate does battle, doesn't it, with York?
I find it difficult. I mean, living in a rural area, I know that for quite a large majority of the population, church is still important in our area.
We should go. We're going to have to go for the
But
experience.
for a town,
Well.
I find that utterly amazing.
Well, I wouldn't have thought. You surprised me with the numbers.
Yeah,
But you've had that from the people who go.
yeah. I have.
So that's
Yeah.
that's me just being shocked.
Yeah.
Well, if that's one church in Harrogate, I can say others are probably popular too.
Mm.
So we are returning back to, in Harrogate at least, maybe in Ripon. We should go have a look.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay with that to a point.
Yeah.
There was a time when the word Bible used to switch me off,
Mm.
and maybe you too.
Mm-hmm.
But a little look inside that little book with the smallest print ever. You can read it online, but I can't read it out of the Bible. It's far too bloody small. They must have had brilliant eyesight in those days. A little look in there. I don't find anything to be uncomfortable about, do you?
I don't.
Not really.
No, I see a picture of what's happening.
We see a picture of father and son,
Mm.
but it is a father and son game.
Yeah.
It is a father and son game.
Yeah.
Our job is to replace our parents
Mm.
as better versions.
Mm.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The student's meant to replace the teacher. Every time.
Yeah.
But there be the problem. Who wants to give up the power?
Yeah.
Who wants to stand
Yeah.
aside?
Exactly.
You see, when you've reached the pinnacle of your career,
You're not going to give it all
you're
away.
not giving that up for nobody, are you?
No.
In fact, I would like to ask you the following question. Could you be persuaded that those below you who are pushing for your place, would you tell them how to do it? Or would you tell them...
Not 100%, no.
You'd keep a little something for yourself, wouldn't you?
You would.
It'd be a bit of hide and seek, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And perhaps you'd be tempted to tell them a little bit of misinformation? A bit of disinformation?
Well, you wouldn't be as helpful as you could be.
Perhaps you would be forward thinking, and you would spot somebody who might be a challenge in the future, and you might compromise them early. So when they come to challenge your position, you say, I have a little something that I need to show you.
Yeah.
You see, I'm happy for you to work for me, but not replace me.
Uh-huh.
Would we say that perhaps that's happened more than once?
Definitely.
And if you were sat one level above the show, would you be inclined to promote people who maybe didn't quite deserve it
Mm.
to these positions of stardom and fame,
Mm.
because you would always have them in your pocket? You
Yeah.
see, you would always have the final say on their destiny, because the reason they're where they are is because you said they could be.
Yeah. How many times have you known somebody achieve a position and you've thought, how on earth have they got there?
All the time.
Exactly.
All the time. What the hell are they doing with that job?
Yeah.
How the hell did they get that job? It's because they're no challenge the next one up, that's why.
Yeah.
The yes
Precisely.
men. Yes men and yes women.
Precisely.
Do as they're told. Well, that's what the system wants.
Yeah.
Do as you're told. If I tell you to go and tell him, if you don't work hard, we're going to sack him, then that's what they'll do.
Mm.
You know, they're the shield, aren't they?
Mm.
Like, I see politicians as the shield.
Yeah.
And we can attack the shield all day, but eventually they just throw it away and pick up a new one.
Yeah.
And then the fight starts over again.
Yeah.
And we find ourselves trying to use that word that I find ridiculous, truth.
Yeah.
Chasing the truth. Well, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
It'll never be caught.
Mm.
You'll never catch it. The only thing you can do is tell it.
Mm.
And then people don't believe you half the time anyway.
No, they don't.
But you can't catch it. You cannot catch. You'll never know you've got it either.
No.
Now, looking back in those pages of the Bible, I find very little in there that I'm uncomfortable with.
Mm.
And even though it's written in language that is 300 or 400 years old for us now,
Mm.
and a little bit, well, it can be misconstrued.
Mm-hmm.
But I think its simplicity is there to read if you want it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a multi-level bifable, 2-level fable.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. It's a story for children, about someone coming to save them, or it's a template on how to control a bloody big number of people and get paid, because it's called a denomination. Each religion's called a denomination.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can bank on the church,
Mm-hmm.
because they'll provide you the service. All personas need to be serviced. And you go in there, and you feel cleansed when you walk back out.
Yeah.
And you've knelt down as prayer in front of the guy reading from the Wingspan Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
You have, wearing black and making the sign of the cross in front of you to remind you how you'll get crucified if you don't do as the book says.
Yeah.
It's a template on how to control many people, and I think we all know that. I think we're all comfortable with that. The guy called Jesus is that big yellow thing in the sky. It's the sun worshippers that you don't yet realise you are, but you've been all your bloody life. Without it, you will die.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're trying to blot it out and make us wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
We now have half the population that the sunshine is bad for them. And most kids are convinced it is. How do you get people to that? You were feeling poorly last week, you sat out on a Thursday afternoon, you got 3 hours sunshine, you look like you've been abroad, and you feel bloody fine.
Yeah.
The best medication possible is sunshine, I think, isn't it?
The only tonic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking back at that book then, if we carry on with the mind games of what if, that book says that we've been seeded.
Yeah.
Now you said that could be true.
Yes.
And I said it could be true, yeah. But evolution does show, you know, that there are more than 10 stages of this version of humanoid, as it were, how we've changed over evolution. But it doesn't actually describe the step from monkey to human. It doesn't actually get there properly.
No.
So what do you, I mean, just let's have some fun. What do you think? I mean, do you think that it is possible that someone who looked like we do has come and bred with apes and kept breeding with the ape that kept making until they have got a version that looks like them, walks like them, talks like them, but doesn't think like them? Do you think they have? Do you think that development, that what I've just taught you about evolution, shows that different stages of humans, and they've kept breeding with us until they've got what they want?
Yes, I think they've definitely had an input in it.
Well, the fact is that they maintain the bloodline records as if it's life and death for them. They do maintain bloodline records, and it is imperative that they actually, they do that.
Oh yeah, it's very
and always
important.
have done.
Yeah.
So whether it's just because they can breed psychopaths successfully,
Yeah.
which is what, I mean, you do need people who don't feel to run this system.
Yeah.
That's why they're sent to boarding schools. It's well known that they're brought up in boarding schools, networking with the people they're going to work with all their life, making connections that will last a lifetime. It's called crony capitalism. Employing your friends.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what they learn very quickly at boarding school. As for going back to the beginning, it says that we were bred as a slave race, wasn't it? We were actually bred to till the soil. That was what we were made for.
Yeah.
Well, it appears to be true that we do get to do all the work
Yeah.
and keep none of the bloody profits, do we?
No.
So, regardless of what people may say, the reality is we do all the work and keep none of the profits. Do you know what the average income is across the working world? It's about £22,000.
Yeah, 22.
About 22,000 quid is the average income across the working world. The Western,
Yeah.
So even though we feel hard done to in this country, we're pretty much on the button, aren't we?
Yeah.
The problem is the cost of living.
Yes.
That's our problem.
Yeah.
How bloody much it costs. Gas, electric, water and fuel.
Yeah.
They don't cost the same. I mean, look at America. They get their things a lot cheaper than we do. I don't really want to get into America because it's easy to get stuck on their economy.
Yeah.
And stuck on their news.
Yeah.
And stuck on what's happening in their part of the world. And then you completely go blind as to what's happening here.
Yeah.
We have the advanced version of what America's going to get. We have no guns. We have no knives. We have a population that polices each other like never before. We have a pretend police force now being built, and we have no border controls at all. They can come and go as they bloody well feel like it. We've been filled up with poor people. The exodus of the successful people is almost complete. They take the brains, the money and the jobs with them. The government has exported all the jobs that we might have our young people to do, and our houses are full of made in somewhere else stuff.
Yeah.
We're in a lot of trouble, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, the other reason that I'm still doing fish and chips is because it seems about as future-proof as everything else I can think of.
Yeah.
You know, supermarkets aren't going to do fish and chips. It's just something they can't do.
Yeah.
Big business, the chains, the big business, I mean, they can try it, but it's been tried before unsuccessfully by hundreds of people. So I'm stuck in fish and chips.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be. I didn't know what... I always careered through life. And this seems to be probably my last stop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have chosen it to be, but now I'm here. I'm glad it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same position.
It's cash over the counter before I have to pay for it.
Yeah.
We live in a country that still thinks it's an empire and it should be proud of itself. The entire country is in debt, and a lot of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter individually, you can find successes. But look closely at those successes and then tell me the following. If they had to pay all outstanding amounts today, would they be in credit?
No.
The majority of people that we see as successful, the answer is no, they wouldn't. So they're living in a hole too. They just fancy their chances of getting out as well as everybody else.
But they're probably in a bigger hole because they go to the further extreme of wanting to impress everybody else.
Well, they have to maintain the status.
Exactly.
The problem is that after about 46, 47, 48 years old, the stats are that you've actually...
Your mic's going funny.
Yeah, I know. The stats are that you've maximised your income. You won't earn more than that.
Yeah.
Your ability to earn is going to fall from here on in the majority of cases. But you can't give up at 48.
No.
You've got to work till you're 65. The hamster in the wheel. Does it ever stop? Everyone I've spoken to says no, it doesn't. So, looking on my Facebook page, then let's have a look. We nearly did a story, you know. I nearly got to a story there. I haven't done one yet, but we nearly did one. Let's have a look at... Here we go. Benefits. Always an interesting subject, isn't it?
It is.
Benefits.
Yeah.
Everybody's on benefits. Who do they blame? Immigration.
Yes.
Always blame immigration, don't they?
They do.
And then there's that poisonous little twerp. That nasty little dwarf. ITV2. Sun columnist. Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever like him. He benefits from putting a certain type of mentality on his show.
He does.
He laughs at them, he belittles them, and he makes a big profit from parasiting from their stupidity.
Yeah.
And he only shows white people, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Part of the agenda, isn't he? Of course he bloody is.
Yeah, he is.
Keep us all fighting. There are no
Horrible
border
man.
controls. There are no border controls.
No.
Not really there are now. How many headlines do you need to see? Oh, there's 360,000 people that we didn't know were here. Just snuck in. We're being lied to, but people can't actually accept that.
No.
They can't accept that a politician will look into the camera and comfortably, very comfortably, lie to you. They don't believe that that could happen. And then they don't believe that the news stations are all designed to do this. They're designed to present to you what they want you to believe to be reality.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's happened or it hasn't, as long as you think it has.
But it takes the blame off them, doesn't it? They've got somebody else to blame for their misfortune. Or
Back to the benefits, boys and girls, yeah.
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 Or their mistakes in choices.
So let me ask you. Okay, it's well known in social control. There is always 5% of a population that won't work.
Yeah.
They just won't. They're unemployable.
Yeah.
The reasons are wide and varied, but there's always 5% that won't work, can't work, don't work.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tories are back, bolder than ever, confident that they can get everything through, and they're going for it. So what do we think about turning benefits into loans? What do we think about that? This is all part of. It's come from a book. Well, so they claim it's come from a book. Of course, it hasn't come from a book at all. They've been talking about this for years, but they always have to have something to quote, don't they?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think for them it's a natural progression, because they make university students pay back their loans. So surely, in the end, they're going to get everybody paying back the benefits, the loans.
So will this work as an additional incentive to get a job?
No.
For some it won't, will it?
No, exactly. Nobody's going to rush to get a job.
So let's talk about that 5%, or maybe even a little bit higher now, because that 5% have been allowed to breed.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have, more than 5%
Yeah.
who think that they're entitled to something.
Mm.
Now, we're showing those in the newspapers quite often, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've got to be careful of stigmatising everybody who not everyone's like that.
Yeah.
But we use our own eyes. The newspapers are doing their job of showing us what is happening elsewhere, but we have to use our own eyes to reason, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than just watching TV and thinking we know stuff.
Yeah.
Because we don't know stuff when we watch TV.
No.
We don't really, do we?
No, you don't.
And what we do know is what everybody else knows.
Yeah.
So it's got no value, has it?
No.
So our own opinion, which we can see for ourselves,
Yes.
has value for you and I.
Yeah.
So we can say, yeah, we do understand what John McCallie is doing, and we do understand why the BBC is the BBC and what the news is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And we do understand that there is a reason, a method of controlling 64 million people.
Mm.
And if you think that somebody isn't overarching, controlling everything, then good for you. But we think there is.
Mm.
We think there is an overall control system
Yeah.
that has never relinquished power at all. It's just managed to hide itself behind a never-ending number of bureaucrats and businesses and corporations and governments and banks.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
Yeah.
It never did give up.
Mm-hmm.
So benefits into loans. I think it will spur one or two on to try a bit harder to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really think it's going to be the success that perhaps the newspapers say it's going to be.
No. No, I don't. It's just going to cause resentment.
But what might happen is that the loan is up to a maximum amount of. Yeah?
Yeah.
So let's say it might be 10,000 or 15,000, whatever.
Yeah.
And if at the end of that time you don't have a job, then one will be found for you.
Mm.
And we'll be able to stick a price label on every single face saying that this person here owes the country £15,000.
Mm.
So should we find a job for him? Well, what's the answer going to be?
Well, people are going to say yes, aren't they?
Of course they are.
Yeah.
It is so easy for me to understand and so hard for me to get over to people that all these policies we talk about, okay, they all have one overarching, overlying, obvious function to me.
Yeah.
And it's to get every single person into debt.
Yeah.
Where the money comes from doesn't matter. It's just made up. It doesn't matter anymore at all. Take a moment, right? Just step back and take a moment. Just imagine that you can actually print money. And then, I must fix this mic, it's driving me mad. Hopefully that'll be better.
Yeah.
Right, the plan is, if I could print money for nothing, then I would. And because it cost me money to print it, I would want everybody, and I mean everybody, in debt.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how much I gave them, really, as long as whoever was paying the interest could afford to pay the interest.
Yeah.
Because by giving them money, I'm helping the economy, okay, by getting into more debt. Which means that people see loans as their only way of surviving.
Yeah.
Paying for things, no matter how it is now, is we can't do that anymore. We have to go and rent or rent to buy.
Yeah.
Hire purchase, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't buy houses, we can't buy cars, we even pay for holidays by instalments, our home insurance by instalments. It means that we haven't got any money really. We're always in debt to the loan sharks. And look at some of those figures. 1,240% I heard today on the radio. APR.
Yeah.
The mafia would be proud of them. 1,240%.
I know.
This is the modern day mafia, isn't it? I would want every single person in debt to me. And because I'd made my board of directors, my administrators of the ration, or as we know them, Parliament, okay, my little boys, my representatives, because I'd made them the scapegoats, then for those that wouldn't pay, it would be added onto the social bill of those that can pay.
Yeah.
And by the time I'd finished, I would have looted the country by simply making up money.
Yeah.
All of it would be mine. Well, that's what's going on. All of it. So it doesn't matter where you come from. Eventually, I would be able to create a perfect slave race who never demanded anything more than just what they needed to work for me tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would create a system of digital awards. And for those that didn't want to play, I'll probably find an island to send you to. It won't be Australia this time, but it will be somewhere where you who shout and bawl about an unfair system and you can manage on your own, I'm going to say, okay, if you don't want to play, that's fine. I found somewhere for you. Off you go and see how you get on. Because setting up communes and letting people live how they want to has been tried a number of times.
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked out. It's not going to work out. Those are the people that won't face the level above them. You see, are we all guilty of picking on those that have less than we have? We sort of are, aren't we?
Yeah.
We pick a target and then pick on them. Because we've decided that we can win that one. But we don't fight above our weight, do we?
No.
No. Because we don't have the intelligence to do so.
That's right.
We know quietly that we've got a bad education. We know quietly that now we're stepping into the den of vipers. And we know quietly that they'll lie for each other, tell us whatever we want to hear, and the lies that make our lives comfortable, and we'll sit back down and nobody will help us. You see?
Yeah.
All we have is the opportunity to share the fact that we've got a bad education.
Yeah.
How many hours are you going to give to learn this? No, we don't do it, do we?
No.
You did, I did, but people can't.
No.
It takes hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Thousands of hours.
Yeah.
And then you're going to start reading.
But that's it. It's just continuous. It never stops.
But you've got to do... Look, it's a full degree course, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, would you have had to work harder if you were taking a degree in maths?
No.
It's just as hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's no teacher here.
No.
There's
No.
guidance, but there's no teachers.
Yeah.
You become the teacher, don't you? You actually teach yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's completely different about this.
Yeah.
You let go of the apprenticeship, which is YouTube, You let go of the internet, and eventually you let go of the books.
Yeah.
And then you get started.
Yeah.
You get started making sense of it yourself.
Yeah.
And then books come along that you think, oh, I fancy reading that. But you've done your course.
Yes.
You have built your foundation.
Yeah.
And it is a foundation course.
Yeah.
And it's built a new existence in your head that you call home, hasn't it?
Mm.
Layer by layer, course by course. The see and the meant. You've
Yeah.
decided what you see.
Yeah.
And you've decided what it means.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so difficult, because it's so personal. There's no right or wrong. It is for each individual.
You say there's no right or wrong. You're absolutely, how you get there, correct.
Mm.
But you do try and strive toward what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah.
say that's...
But there's nothing positive. You can't say for definite that's right.
Mhm.
It can be right today.
Yes, and then
But then
tomorrow, your information arrives,
yeah,
and the picture changes slightly.
because
Correct.
each time you find an answer, you're questioning something else, and you end up going on and on. Each question leads to another question, and you end up back at the first one, and it could have changed.
That's what happens when you speak to people, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't answer the question without actually backing up your answer with why you're answering it that way.
No, you can't.
And that is what happens. But people think you're showing off, but you're actually just saying, look, there's a bit missing here. We can sit down and we can look at where we are today, but we've really got to look how we got here, so we can work out where we went wrong.
Yeah.
That level of conversation to you and I sounds simple.
Yeah.
You can't have it with other people, can you?
No.
You realise now that in interaction, in conversation interaction, it's one sentence for you, one sentence for me. One sentence for you, one sentence for me.
Mm.
If I ask you to listen for a moment, I've got something that I want to share with you. They can't. They can't shut up.
No. You're just constantly interrupted.
Well, the word they is something that's changed for me over the years. I'm going to ask you the same thing, actually. When I first started trying to work out how the world actually works, they would always be, in my head, the word they would be those invisible people that run it all.
Mm.
They were the enemy.
Mm.
And then as you sort of learn a little bit more, you realise that they became the visible controllers.
Mm.
They became the politicians and the judges and the barristers and the bankers, and they became the enemy, now a visible enemy.
Mm.
But we still call them they.
Yeah.
And then as your study continues, the word they becomes the people all around you,
Yeah.
because they won't listen.
No.
And they have to listen, because if they would listen, then the world might change.
Yeah.
So they became they.
Yeah.
And then it gets a little different, because the people you call they then become the closest to you.
Mm. Yeah.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
And then you realise that you tried to differentiate between four groups called they,
Mm.
and you did, and they're all there to teach you. They're your teachers.
Yeah.
They are who you learn from. That's who they are.
Mm.
Correct?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is.
And they used the television against me.
Yeah.
Didn't life change when you flipped the television and said, okay, what can I see in it?
Yes.
What's it doing?
Yeah.
Look behind the story. Follow the fun that you're meant to have, but understand what the message is.
Mm.
And then, what do we conclude after we've done that? Is the TV trying to teach you? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But if you can't see it, it's just entertaining you, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we're guilty of trying to do what the television's doing. Which means that on one side of the listening audience, people will laugh at what we're saying.
Mm.
And on the other side of the listening audience, the very few,
Yeah.
will say, yeah, we can see that too.
Yeah.
Which side would you rather?
I'd rather be on the one that sees.
But is it worth it?
It has been for me.
Then that's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah.
For me, I'm still twixt and between sometime, you know. Sometimes I wonder. The reason that I have a problem with it is because it's hard to do Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Mm.
It's hard to keep doing the same day and accepting the same conversations and the same routines, and there's no one to share it with.
Yeah.
And the few people that I have met and I have spoken to and I do get along with, they don't bring anything.
Mm.
They're not thinking.
Mm.
They're not. It's not working. I've got a few people going, but
Yeah.
they don't understand, and I get so frustrated that I don't have the words to get them to you're a slave. You work for somebody else. Get over it. You're a slave.
Mm.
You can never be free. I ask you, what's the word freedom mean? Define the word freedom without going on Google.
Mm.
Do it all on your own. Go on, prove to me you can do it. Not easy, is it?
No.
But what's the answer? Say no.
Yeah.
Being allowed to say no thanks. Not
Yeah.
for me. Isn't that what matters?
Yeah, it is.
The world doesn't work when you say no, does it?
No.
It falls to bloody pieces when you say no.
Yeah.
We are slaves. We've been slaves maybe throughout history. But certainly allowing somebody else to occupy your time, value you, and pay you what they say they're worth. If that's not modern day slavery, you live in denial.
Mm.
They'll decide what time you start. They'll decide what time you finish. They'll decide how much you get paid. And they'll decide if you stay.
Yeah.
It's modern day slavery.
Yes, it is.
And it's been around for a very long time. What do we supply for ourselves? Nothing. We get up and do. We it's a labour trade, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We trade labour.
Yeah.
But we don't write the terms and conditions, do we? But you do.
Yeah.
And I do.
Yeah.
But those that we associate with,
So.
they can't.
No.
They can't actually understand the word contract.
Mm.
They just say, "Oh yeah, I've been given a contract at work. I have to sign it."
Mm.
Never occurs to them, does it? Never occurs to
No.
negotiate,
No.
because they can't negotiate, because it's not a contract.
Mm.
It's an agreement.
Yeah.
It's an agreement.
A one-sided agreement.
It's a one-sided agreement where you'll do as you're told.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll be sacked.
Yeah.
But then those people say to those people, how about you take responsibility for everything you do, and the profits you keep and the losses you have to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. No.
No, people aren't prepared for that.
No.
No, they're not prepared for taking unpaid holidays. They're not prepared for taking unpaid sick if need be. They can't do it. They won't do it.
So we've got our answer, haven't we?
Mm.
We've got our answer.
Mm.
This is how it is.
Mm.
This is how people want it to be.
Yeah.
It is this way because we're happy with it. And for those that shout the loudest, they're usually the poorest, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we have to make do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Those churches have all got spires, haven't they?
Mm.
Before we respire,
Mm.
we've got to inspire and aspire.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
It's a shitty system. It's designed to keep us where we are, to cap our ability,
Mm-hmm.
classify us, keep us feeding both sides.
Mm.
You could probably end up on antidepressants if you don't actually get to the end of understanding where we are. But when you get to the end, it's not that bad, really. The politicians are thieves and crooks, and they're getting worse. But locally, we're putting up a little stand. Locally, we're fighting back a little bit.
Mm.
I do quietly believe that, well, maybe not in my lifetime, maybe in my lifetime, I hope so. This game as we know it today is over.
Mm.
The cat's out of the bag. And okay, the young people don't get it, but people our age, over 40,
Yeah.
there's a chance, you know. There's a chance. There is a chance. We'll see. The kids, God, I'll get onto the kids next time. Jeez, I've been employing kids for 28 years. Never have I had. Next week.
Yeah.
The stories are just ridiculous. They really are. We can't give up, you know. It just seems like it's going to be a bit of a tough call. You've made it. I've made it.
Yeah.
Andy's made it.
Yeah.
We've got Claire, we've got Pippa, we've got a few other people. We know people who've made it through.
Mm-hmm.
And now you try and help somebody else. If you work for somebody else, you're probably not going to make it. If you're in debt up to your neck, you're probably not going to make it.
Mm.
And if you don't have time to devote, you know, maybe even hundreds of hours and certainly tens of books, you're probably not going to make it.
No. No.
So enjoy the entertainment.
Yeah.
Because it takes hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of reading and listening and learning and teaching. And you've got to do it all on your own.
Yeah.
And if that's not what you've got to give, you're never going to make it. For another Tuesday. Good night from me.
And it's good night from me.